Ladies, let's get one thing straight. True power doesn't come from chasing. It comes from being. It comes from the quiet confidence of knowing who you are, what you bring to the table, and never begging for what should be naturally yours. Have you ever noticed that the moment you stop obsessing over someone, they suddenly start paying more attention to you? That's not a coincidence, it's psychology. Men are wired to chase, to pursue, to earn, but the moment you attach your happiness, your worth, and your identity to them, you shift the balance. The moment you detach, you reclaim your power. Emotional independence is the foundation of true confidence and self-worth. It is the ability to stand strong in your own emotions without relying on external validation to define your happiness. A woman who embodies emotional independence is naturally magnetic because she does not seek permission to feel whole, she already is. This self-assurance creates an aura of stability, making her incredibly attractive to men and those around her. When a woman is emotionally independent, she does not cling to relationships out of fear or insecurity. She does not need constant reassurance to feel valued. Instead, she finds fulfillment within herself. This quality is rare, and rarity creates value. A man is instinctively drawn to a woman who is secure in her emotions because she represents peace rather than chaos. He does not feel the pressure of being responsible for her happiness, which allows the relationship to develop naturally, free from emotional burdens. A woman who practices emotional independence is not easily shaken by the highs and lows of dating and relationships. She does not react impulsively to a man's actions because she is not seeking external control over her emotions. If a man pulls away, she does not panic or chase. Instead, she continues living her life, knowing that her worth is not defined by someone else's presence. This composure makes her incredibly desirable because it signals strength and self-respect. A woman who does not allow circumstances to dictate her emotional state is a woman who commands admiration. Men are wired to appreciate a challenge. They are drawn to women who present an air of mystery, those who are not easily won over but instead require genuine effort. When a woman is emotionally independent, she does not make herself too available or too easy to attain. She understands that real connection is built on mutual effort, not one-sided pursuit. This is why men find emotionally independent women irresistible. They exude an energy of self-sufficiency that makes them stand out. Emotional independence also fosters a deep sense of inner peace. A woman who has mastered it does not engage in unnecessary drama or manipulation to get attention. She does not allow fear of abandonment to dictate her actions. Instead, she operates from a place of security, knowing that if a relationship does not work out, she will be just fine on her own. This detachment from emotional dependency makes her energy calm and inviting rather than needy and overwhelming. A man does not want to feel like he is the center of a woman's world. He wants to feel like he is a part of it. When a woman has her own ambitions, passions, and inner stability, she becomes even more attractive. She is not waiting to be saved or completed. She is already whole. This independence makes her irreplaceable because she offers a love that is free from desperation and filled with genuine connection. When a woman stands in her emotional power, she becomes a magnet for the kind of respect and admiration that cannot be forced. Instead of seeking love to fill a void, she attracts it effortlessly by simply being who she is. Detachment is one of the most powerful qualities a woman can possess because it shifts the balance of energy in any relationship. When a woman detaches, she no longer operates from a place of fear, neediness, or desperation. Instead, she moves with confidence, grace, and an unshakable sense of self-worth. This mindset naturally commands respect because it communicates that she values herself above any external validation. A woman who is detached does not beg for attention, chase after someone who is pulling away, or try to force connections that are not meant for her. She understands that real love, respect, and admiration cannot be coerced. They must be earned. When a man senses that a woman is not dependent on his presence or approval, he begins to view her differently. She is no longer just another option. She is a person of value, someone he must put effort into keeping. Men instinctively respect what they cannot easily have. When a woman makes herself too available, overcompensates, or sacrifices her own needs to please someone else, she often loses the respect she desires. But when she is detached from the outcome, whether a man stays or leaves, she becomes infinitely more attractive. She is not waiting for someone to choose her because she has already chosen herself. This level of self-assurance forces others to recognize her worth, not because she demands it, but because she embodies it. Detachment also prevents emotional manipulation. Many people use guilt, silence, or unpredictability to control those who are emotionally dependent. But a woman who is detached cannot be easily manipulated because she does not react impulsively. She does not fall into the trap of seeking closure from those who refuse to give it. Nor does she waste energy on situations that do not serve her. She moves forward without hesitation, knowing that respect comes from actions, not empty words or false promises. When a woman is detached, she naturally sets boundaries. She does not tolerate disrespect, inconsistency, or half-hearted effort. She does not over-explain her worth or beg for better treatment. Instead, she simply walks away when she senses that a situation does not align with her standards. This quiet confidence is what makes her unforgettable. People may not always understand her detachment at first, but over time, they recognize that it comes from a place of strength, not indifference. Men admire women who know when to step back. They may not say it outright, but they respect those who do not settle for less than they deserve. A woman who is willing to let go rather than cling to an unhealthy dynamic holds a unique power, one that draws the right people closer while naturally filtering out those who do not deserve her energy. Detachment does not mean being cold or emotionless. It means valuing oneself enough to not be controlled by external circumstances. It means maintaining grace and self-respect, no matter how others choose to behave. When a woman masters this, she no longer has to ask for respect. It is given to her naturally. Men are naturally wired to pursue, and this instinct is deeply rooted in biology and psychology. From an evolutionary standpoint, men have always been hunters, whether for food, success, or relationships. The thrill of the chase activates their drive and makes them feel accomplished when they finally attain what they have worked for. This is why a woman who understands this dynamic naturally commands more attention and respect. She does not chase, she attracts. She allows space for a man to step into his role as a pursuer, which in turn makes him value and appreciate her more. When something is easily accessible, it is often taken for granted. The same principle applies in relationships. If a woman is constantly available, overly eager, or too quick to give herself emotionally, a man does not feel the need to put in effort. It is not that he does not appreciate her, but rather that his instincts are not being engaged in a way that fuels his attraction. Men desire what they perceive as valuable, and value is created through scarcity, challenge, and effort. A woman who understands that men are wired to pursue does not fear distance or space in a relationship. She does not panic when a man pulls away because she knows that if he truly wants her, he will find a way back. She does not chase after him, nor does she beg for attention. Instead, she continues to live her life with confidence, allowing him the opportunity to realize her worth on his own. This, in turn, increases his respect for her. When a man feels like he has to earn a woman's time and affection, he values her more deeply because he has invested in the process of winning her over. Men are competitive by nature. They appreciate what is exclusive, what not everyone can have. When a woman positions herself as someone who does not settle easily, who does not give in without effort, she automatically stands out. She is no longer just another option. She becomes a prize worth working for. This does not mean playing mind games or manipulating emotions, but rather maintaining self-respect and allowing things to unfold naturally. When a man senses that he is not the center of a woman's world, that she has her own passions, goals, and standards, he is drawn to her even more. The pursuit also strengthens the emotional connection. When a man has to put in effort to win a woman's heart, he develops a deeper attachment to her. He remembers the work it took, the anticipation, and the emotional investment he made. This process fosters a stronger, more meaningful bond. A woman who is too quick to give everything away does not allow this process to happen, which can lead to a lack of appreciation over time. Understanding that men are wired to pursue is not about manipulation. It is about honoring natural dynamics. It is about knowing that a woman's value does not come from how much she gives, but from how much she respects herself. When she allows a man to pursue her, she gives him the chance to truly appreciate and cherish her, which leads to a healthier and more fulfilling relationship. Scarcity is a fundamental principle that governs human psychology and desire. People naturally place a higher value on things that are rare, exclusive, or difficult to attain. This applies to relationships just as much as it does to luxury goods, career opportunities, or limited edition items. When something is always available, it becomes ordinary. When it is rare, it becomes special. The same logic holds true when it comes to attraction. What is easily given is easily taken for granted, while what is scarce commands attention and appreciation. In relationships, a woman who makes herself too available, whether emotionally, physically, or in terms of her time, risks diminishing her perceived value. It is not about playing games or withholding affection. Rather, it is about understanding that anything that requires no effort to attain is often underappreciated. When a woman spreads herself thin, constantly catering to someone else's needs, she unconsciously signals that she does not value herself enough to establish boundaries. On the other hand, a woman who prioritizes herself, who does not overextend to gain someone's approval, naturally creates an aura of desirability. Men, like most people, are drawn to what they cannot easily have. This is why they pursue promotions, set personal goals, and push themselves to achieve. When a woman positions herself as someone who is selective with her time and energy, she creates an opportunity for a man to step up and prove himself. This dynamic is not about manipulation. It is about knowing that her presence in someone's life is a privilege, not an obligation. Scarcity also applies to emotional availability. If a woman is too emotionally accessible, always responding instantly, always accommodating, and always prioritizing someone else above herself, she removes any sense of challenge or excitement from the connection. On the other hand, when she maintains her independence, continues to focus on her own passions, and does not base her happiness on another person, she fosters an air of mystery and strength. That mystery fuels attraction. It makes a man wonder, think, and ultimately appreciate her more. This concept does not mean withholding love or being distant on purpose. It simply means maintaining a balance where a woman does not give herself away too quickly or too easily. It means allowing space for admiration to build, for effort to be made, and for respect to grow. When something is abundant, its worth is often overlooked. But when something is rare and requires intentional effort to attain, it naturally becomes more valuable. The relationships that last are often those where both individuals maintain a strong sense of self. When a woman understands that her presence, her energy, and her love are valuable commodities, she will no longer feel the need to prove her worth. Instead, she will embody it. The right people will recognize her value not because she demands it, but because she carries herself in a way that leaves no question of it. Detachment is often misunderstood as being cold, indifferent, or emotionally unavailable, but in reality it is a sign of strength, self-respect, and emotional intelligence. It does not mean that a woman does not care. It means she refuses to cling, force, or beg for something that is not naturally flowing into her life. Detachment is not the absence of love. It is the presence of self-worth. When a woman practices detachment, she is not shutting herself off from emotions. She is simply choosing not to be controlled by them. A woman who is detached does not stop feeling. She stops overreacting. She no longer allows the fear of losing someone to dictate her actions. She understands that attachment often leads to suffering because it places her sense of security in someone else's hands. When she detaches, she reclaims control over her emotions and decisions. She does not stay in situations that do not serve her just because she is afraid of change. She does not try to force connections that are not reciprocated. Instead, she trusts that what is meant for her will stay, and what is not will naturally fall away. Many people mistake detachment for a lack of care, but the truth is, a woman who detaches is often the one who loves the healthiest. She does not love from a place of neediness, desperation, or insecurity. Instead, she loves freely, without expectation or pressure. She does not demand constant reassurance because she already knows her value. This makes her presence refreshing and uplifting rather than heavy and draining. She brings peace to a relationship rather than chaos because she does not depend on another person for her happiness. Detachment allows a woman to observe rather than react. When she faces disappointment, she does not break down or chase after explanations. She does not beg for attention or force someone to stay. Instead, she steps back and lets things unfold naturally. If someone is meant to be in her life, they will be. If they are not, she knows she will be fine on her own. This quiet confidence is what commands respect and deepens attraction. When a woman does not panic at the thought of losing someone, that person begins to see her differently. They recognize that she is not easily swayed by emotions, and that makes her presence all the more valuable. Being detached does not mean a woman avoids love, relationships, or commitment. It simply means she loves with healthy boundaries. She does not let her emotions dictate her self-worth. She does not overextend herself for people who do not reciprocate. She does not allow fear to make decisions for her. Instead, she remains centered, knowing that true love is never forced. She chooses relationships that add to her life rather than define it. She is at peace with whatever comes and whatever goes because she knows that the most important relationship she will ever have is the one she has with herself. Focusing on yourself first is not selfish, it is necessary. Too often, people pour their energy into relationships, friendships, and external validation while neglecting their own growth, happiness, and well-being. The truth is, when you prioritize yourself, you become a stronger, more fulfilled, and more magnetic person. You develop a sense of confidence that does not rely on others, and this inner strength naturally attracts the right opportunities and people into your life. When you focus on yourself first, you create a life that is full, regardless of who is in it. You no longer depend on someone else to make you feel worthy or complete. Instead, you cultivate self-love, develop your passions, and chase your goals. This makes you a more interesting and dynamic person. People are drawn to those who have their own sense of direction and purpose. When you invest in yourself, you become someone that others want to be around, not because you need them, but because your energy is inspiring. Many people lose themselves in relationships, sacrificing their own needs to keep others happy. They put their dreams on hold, lower their standards, and give more than they receive, hoping that their selflessness will be appreciated. But the reality is, when you neglect yourself, you teach others to neglect you too. If you do not prioritize your well-being, no one else will. The way you treat yourself sets the standard for how others treat you. When you put yourself first, you show the world that you are valuable and that value is naturally respected. Focusing on yourself does not mean shutting people out or avoiding relationships. It means setting boundaries and making sure your own cup is full before you try to pour into others. It means not settling for less than you deserve, whether in love, friendships, or career opportunities. It means recognizing that your happiness is your responsibility and not something that another person can provide for you. The more fulfilled you are as an individual, the more you have to offer to others in a healthy, balanced way. Personal growth should always be a priority. When you focus on your own development, you become stronger emotionally, mentally, and even physically. You build resilience, self-awareness, and independence. Instead of relying on external validation, you create your own sense of fulfillment. This shift in mindset changes everything. You stop chasing things that are not meant for you and start attracting what aligns with your highest self. When you make yourself the priority, the right people will respect and appreciate you for it. Those who do not understand may try to make you feel guilty, but that is only because they benefited from your self-neglect. The people who truly belong in your life will admire your self-respect and personal growth. They will see your independence as an asset, not a threat. When you focus on yourself first, you create a life that is rich, fulfilling, and built on a foundation of true self-worth. Everything else falls into place from there. Detachment is one of the most powerful tools for creating emotional stability because it allows a person to navigate life with clarity, confidence, and inner peace. When someone practices detachment, they are no longer at the mercy of external circumstances, people's opinions, or unpredictable emotions. Instead of reacting impulsively to situations, they respond with wisdom and composure. Detachment does not mean indifference or a lack of care. It means having control over one's emotional state rather than allowing external factors to dictate it. People who are overly attached tend to experience intense emotional highs and lows. Their happiness is tied to validation from others, the success of their relationships, or the fulfillment of their expectations. When things go their way, they feel on top of the world, but when they don't, they feel devastated. This creates a cycle of emotional instability where their sense of peace is constantly disrupted by forces outside their control. Detachment breaks this cycle by shifting the focus inward. It teaches a person to anchor their emotions in something more stable, themselves. When a person is detached, they do not become consumed by the fear of losing someone or something. They understand that life is ever-changing and that clinging to anything too tightly only leads to suffering. Instead of being desperate for outcomes to unfold in a specific way, they trust the process and remain open to whatever comes their way. This mindset fosters emotional resilience, allowing them to handle disappointments, rejections, and unexpected changes with grace. One of the greatest benefits of detachment is that it prevents overreaction. When a person is emotionally attached, they tend to overthink, overanalyze, and overextend themselves in relationships. They may feel the need to control situations or people to maintain a sense of security. This often leads to frustration, anxiety, and unnecessary conflict. However, a detached person understands that they cannot control others, nor do they need to. They allow things to flow naturally, addressing issues with logic and patience rather than panic and desperation. Detachment also fosters self-sufficiency. Instead of relying on others for happiness or stability, a detached person finds fulfillment within themselves. They create a life that is rich and meaningful regardless of who is in it. This level of independence makes them more attractive and respected because they are not driven by fear or insecurity. They set boundaries, maintain self-respect, and only invest in relationships that are healthy and reciprocated. People who master detachment experience more peace because they stop taking things personally. They understand that rejection, disappointment, or setbacks do not define their worth. They do not chase after people who are unwilling to stay or dwell on things that are beyond their control. Instead, they focus on what they can control, their mindset, reactions, and personal growth. By practicing detachment, a person cultivates emotional stability that allows them to move through life with confidence and inner peace. They remain unaffected by temporary disruptions, knowing that their well-being does not depend on external validation, but on the strength they have built within.